At the end of your life, what will be your legacy? What will you leave behind for future generations? For the world, join the World Messenger, Izabela Lundberg, each week as she brings you a new distinguished guest from the business, sports, or entertainment world to share their success, their struggles, and their lessons. They will share their insights into current hot topics that affect everyone. Izabela facilitates an intimate, vulnerable environment to find the true value of humanity and real leadership. Are you ready for your legacy? The legacy that matters?
Hello, my beautiful friends. It's Izabela Lundberg here at the World Messenger and inviting you for another epic episode of Legacy Leadership. Today, I wanted to address a couple of things that I think it's very important for all of us to pause and reflect as we're seeing tremendous climate shifts and unprecedented types of events that are not only affecting the United States, but rest of the world. I also want to take a moment to zoom in what just happened last week and how this really can continue affecting all of us and how we need to all come together. In time of crisis, it's very important to have exceptional leadership and be able to really assess situation as things are progressing. Knowledge that it's being shared, let's say first hour or aftermath of it, specifically as affected Hurricane Helene in North Carolina. That was something that obviously nobody expected to happen so high up in the mountains and also so far in inland. When you have a situation like that, what we know, it's always fortunate that people cannot possibly be prepared for it. Nobody knew. And with that in mind, really bring us to huge issue that we're seeing right now. We're seeing a lot of different polarized media, videos, articles, pointing the fingers, crossfire at each other. But then also we see something amazing happening. People taking initiatives, regular people taking initiative. And what really makes me, despite the horrors of scenes and videos and clips and messages and so many things that are already being shared on a wide range of media, streamlined media to obviously different social media platforms, we have opportunity also to come and unite together, despite of our political or economical views, social views, and just diverse way of thinking. I think it's important to also stress how wonderful it is when we do rise together. And this is one of those occasions that we see this. Obviously, we've seen people being affected tremendously in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and beside North Carolina. And it's very important to also, and of course, Alabama, I forgot to mention that earlier, but it's also really important to see how one split minute changed absolutely everything for so many people. Now, it's very also important to understand when you deal with the crisis of that magnitude, instead of pointing a finger, blame, or expecting things going to happen in that very second, we have to understand how difficult it is to do any intervention when something is in such a rugged terrain or terrain that completely changed, where there were mudslides and there's still a lot of rain and when roads are completely damaged. So how do you access? You can't always immediately access by plane or helicopter, because if it's not safe to fly, you're going to create more damage. When is opportunity when you can see and assess situation and aftermath, right? So I know that so many looking in how quickly intervention was made, and you have developing scenarios that are constantly shifting and changing from first 24 hours, then 48 hours, 72 hours, and so on. What's also important, it is to focus on positivity. And instead of, again, pointing the fingers, looking on things that divide us, it's very important to really understand, even with the hardest hit area that we've seen in North Carolina, we also have opportunity, even though it's the furthest away, where people can come together. And I'm so thrilled to see also heartwarming, instead of just heart-wrenching videos where people took a rescue with their dogs, with their horses, with their mules, to bring not only emergency equipment, but also medication for people that are stranded. I was deeply touched to see intervention to provide insulin for people, because I know how that is, having diabetics in my family. And also I know how it is to lose everything, because I survived the war, and I'm speaking from experience. I also know how it is difficult and challenging to do crisis intervention when a crisis is ongoing. It's not just something happened for a split second and now we're trying to figure it out. But when it's ongoing crisis, it's so important also to know why certain things are not on the media. And I also want to point out that, do you think crisis is going to be less if we constantly start asking or telling how something bad is, and how we still don't know how many lives are being affected? And more we amplify that. We're creating and amplifying more crisis, right? So from crisis intervention standpoint, it's important to mitigate that, to minimize it, but also to give up people hope and optimism so that they can truly look path forward beyond material stuff, beyond initial issues that we're seeing. So I wanted to also say, because of these rains and dangerous floods and mudslides and landslides, and also so many people that lost 100% communication, that is where panic sits in. Panic for loved ones that are outside of that area, that cannot get hold of them, as well as the ones that are in the midst of all that they cannot also tell anybody what's going on with them and where they are, if they're trapped or surrounded, or where they could possibly receive the help. So what I love to see here is when entire communities are being cut off, when those roads obviously not existent anymore, it's impossible to reach them. It's wonderful to see that sometimes we have chance and opportunity to look at and coming together from different forces. And those forces did show up, maybe not at this immediate time for some people, given all these restrictions, to giving also authorities who are executing upon. But what's nice about it is that we still see the humanity and humanity that shines at its best. I am being super thrilled to see that people, despite of their beliefs, as I mentioned earlier, are stepping up and also showing up and shining and showing true American spirit. And I wanted to say, based on years and years, not only as a humanitarian and someone who did a lot of crisis interventions, I also wanted to point out how important it is. That's nothing there as rewarding, obviously, as serving people during their greatest need. I've been in those situations when I even didn't have nothing myself, and I lost everything, when I was in transit, when I was escaping, when I became refugee. Still, I felt, if nothing else, I could give positivity, I could give a hug, I could volunteer, give my free labor, I could give advice, or I can counsel someone. And right now, everybody will need at different stages, at different time, different things. So further we are removed, it doesn't mean we less care and shouldn't be caring. It's opportunity for us to really think, how can we use either our social media platforms like I'm using right now, and changing completely release of different podcasts, because I wanted to make sure that people are seen as much as possible and taking action, and also coming all together. Because again, when we volunteer, when we bring all of our strengths to the table, and when everybody pitches in with whatever they're capable to do, even if it's just to share in the post. But if you can do more, such as donating, be able to also reach out to different communities and NGOs and see what they may need, offer your free services like support groups, opportunities to really counsel or help people if that's your strength, coach, mentor, provide additional care. For so many, I was really blown away. People were driving 15, 16, 20 hours just to get there, either with their equipment or extra supply from their states. We see people coming from Texas, Colorado, further removed states, from all the way to Massachusetts. And it's so beautiful to see that. I have to say, I'm also, as always, being involved in times of crisis like this, beyond FEMA and other organizations, always looked at through NGOs that are stepping up. and NGOs like Red Cross, they're there. Samaritan Purse, it's also there that it's really helping out. United Way's there. Also, we have a North Carolina Disaster Relief Fund that is available, that it's there. So I just wanted to say, Goodwill, for example, if you have extra things you want to get rid of or wanted to run things with your church, providing from either food and necessities and hygiene products, to warm clothing. One of the things that we're hearing, and that's why I'm bringing Goodwill, it's so important that people that are freezing right now, temperatures are dropping. It's a high up in the mountains. They're expecting possibly even very quickly after this rain, possibly even snow. So it's very important also for people that are displaced, dislocated, to figure it out, where can they go? Versus seeing people welcoming on their land, on their homes or their ranches or whatever they have. So it's also opportunity to look at, can we take someone to provide a shelter? Can we also take care of someone, provide extra living space? Either it's helping them with rent of new apartment or having extra room in homes, whatever it might be. But of course, if everything else fails, there is always financial support. And sometimes that's the most important things, because people will know what they need the most as things are getting sorted out. This catastrophe, it's not going to be resolved very quickly, fortunately. Just because, again, where it is, the magnitude of it, accessibility, timing of the year, and so many other elements there. Obviously, it's going to be a huge financial commitment. And why I'm so heartbroken is when you look at so many homes that are lost, people didn't even have a flood insurance because they thought they will never need it. This level of a catastrophe will never was expected to be happening in area that occurred. So now, how do we show up, and how do we find ways to help people rebuild and find a comfort? But I'm also thrilled is to see how military came in, specifically National Guards and other military forces, to also support families, AMTs, firefighters, police officers, and everybody else between. So I wanted to again amplify that when we do what we're supposed to do on all individual level, we are much stronger. We can get through anything. And this is a great opportunity for all of us to really show what we're capable to do and how we can together move mountains to make, again, positive solution for everyone. I also wanted to highlight something that I reflected in my book, The World Messenger, From Fear to Greatness, Business, Sports, and Life Lessons. Definitely not a plug for the book, but it's also the journey that I'm giving free copies, electronic specifically ones for people that want to read. And why I'm bringing this up, it's really helped to overcome when you deal with such traumatic losses. So many people not only lost everything they ever had in their lives, but they also lost their loved ones. So that is very hard. Unless you've been there, you can't even possibly fathom how difficult that is. And then what is the path to recovery? So it's very important for us to also look at, to be proud of place that we live in, right? As well to be proud of place that we're part of. So let's show the pride both ways. Pride by our stepping up as a leaders, so others are proud that we're here with them, right? But then also to be proud of the place we value, we call home, that is important to us, so that we can really show what that looks like. So be that amazing neighbor, even if you're 3-5 states over, or even if you are not able maybe to do as much as others in times like this. Optimism, positivity, solidarity, support, emotional, mental, physical, financial, material, spiritual, religious, means so much. Because some people are really, really suffering. And right now, I just again wanted to say, as we look at the different NGOs, which I will post the links, I will share. I also want to understand the crisis as time passes by, as things are shifting. it's getting more contained, but of course, results and what we all hopes for might not necessarily be a realistic or be even part of the equation. And more we learn and educate ourselves, more we understand the magnitude of things and why certain things cannot be done in a certain way, I think will give more people peace and less anxiety and less stress and less sense of that nobody cares, or less sense of pointing again fingers. Let's look at what's been done and how it's been done and by whom it's been done and how can we learn, because unfortunately we already have another hurricane in development right now. And will be many, many more. Will be a lot of other national and international natural catastrophes. And I'm speaking also for someone who understands. Fortunately, I was refugee due to the war, but I also work with refugees who are being displaced due to natural disasters or climate shifts and changes, that they have to leave their homes to not only inclement weather, fires, but also toxic environments that they lived, and also the wars simultaneously. So some of them never have a chance, even if it's war over or conflict, to come back. And right now, we see more than ever displacements of people around the globe. We see more than ever the wars creating, again, another generation that is going to be born and raised in a war-torn world. We're also seeing another generation that will be raised in climate affected, torn parts of the country and be displaced as a result of it. Either way, whatever the root cause is and how things occurred, it's not about left or right or north or south or east or west or up and down. It is about digging deep in and thinking about, from human level, what is going on and what can we do, not only to solve the immediate crisis, but what can we do to prevent the future ones. For that one, my friends, we'll need all of you, because I just saw great stories of people who had brand new businesses that were thriving, lost business, lost loved ones, lost home, stability, financial safety, income. That is so much to recover. It takes time. But also the beauty is that I find so much joy, despite how challenging and difficult this is, to really see that we're not alone. And when we're not alone, when we deal with these things together, oh my goodness, that gives us hope. And right now I wanted to really talk about how important it is to instill hope, first of all, within ourselves, but also to help instill in the hope within others. Knowing that we're surrounded by great people, knowing that we are here for one another, knowing that we can come close to each other and bridge all the difficulties that are we yet to face. Because together we can ensure that we can rebuild, and we can also do so many things if we do this together, right? Because we can recover, we can rebuild, and we can restore hope. So I really urge everyone watching and listening to be that beacon of the light who is going to be doing exactly that. And in closing, I just want to share that a lot of times in face of devastation, we need to be reminded that all of us have tremendous strength. Strength for our communities lies not in the severity of the storm, but it also shows actually how we rise together after the storm. And how do we prepare for future storms? and how we prevent from other storms to happen. So let's uplift, support, and show amazing human solidarity. Let's show and demonstrate our amazing leadership. Let's be intentional. Let's be caring, compassionate, kind. Let's be loving. If you ask me, I've been asked recently when I was speaking at the conference, Izabela, what do you think the world needs today the most? I will tell you with 100% unequivocal conviction. Right now, we need more than ever love and, of course, peace, but also collaboration. When we come from that heart-centered place, when we feel the love, then we feel empathy and compassion and kindness and all those other feelings that are supported and stem from that place. We also feel desire to do more, be more. And now it's time to do that, to raise the bar, to show that amazing leadership, and to show what we can do together. Because guess what, guys? Whatever we do, we live intentionally, we lead intentionally, and as a result, we shaped our legacy. Let's make sure that is the legacy we all feel proud of, that we feel that we lived fulfilled life, that we lived valuable life, and that we created positive impact. Take a moment, look at all the links that I'm providing. Make sure you also are sharing how you are supporting, helping so others can learn. And let's stay connected. Let's stay united. And let's take care of all of this together. Game on, champions. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Legacy Leader Show. If you enjoyed the content and had a positive experience, then please leave us a positive rating. In addition, leave us a positive review whenever you are listening on whatever platform there might be. Make sure your friends and family also know about the benefit and value that we provide and what we have to offer. Cheers.